Khan, identified as chairman of the Conservative Inclusion Coalition, made his debut in Washington as an aide to liberal Republican Tom Campbell, then a congressman from California. His late Pakistani father ran a controversial Islamic center in Santa Clara, California, and was an official of 2 U.S. affiliates of the Muslim Brotherhood. His Pakistan-born mother served on a local board of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, CARE. In 2000, with Khan doing the staff work, Congressman Campbell deducted $173,480 from the Federal Bureau of Prisons from H.R. 4690, the Commerce, Justice, State, and Judiciary Appropriations Act for FY 2001. The money was intended to be diverted for the use of foreign prisoners awaiting deportation under the law that Khan was trying to abolish. Again, with Khan doing the staffing, Congressman Campbell teamed with left-wing House Judiciary Committee Chairman John Conyers of Michigan in an attempt to overturn Clinton administration-era legislation that allowed federal authorities to use classified intelligence information in order to deport suspected terrorists from the United States. This writer reported on Khan's work at the time for Insight magazine, a weekly then published by the Washington Times. Khan worked the legislation specifically for Sami al-Arian, the head of an Islamic center in Tampa, Florida, whose brother-in-law, Mazen al-Najjar, was facing terrorist-related deportation proceedings. Federal immigration officials were using classified intelligence, which the suspect was not permitted to see, as part of the proceedings, and Khan tried to rescue him by helping draft the unsuccessful legislation H.R. 1266, the Secret Evidence Repeal Act of 2001, that would have abolished the law. Al-Najjar was a member of the governing Shura Council of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, PIG, a U.S. government-designated terrorist organizations. Khan defended al-Arian against conservative allegations of being a PIG leader himself. Al-Arian headed a legal front group, the National Coalition to Protect Political Freedom, NCPPF, which worked to abolish federal counterterrorism legislation and support Khan's work on Capitol Hill. Under the law Khan was trying to abolish, al-Arian was ultimately arrested, convicted, and sentenced to federal prison as the leader of the North American cell of the PIJ and as a member of the PIJ's Shura Council, of which he was secretary. Al-Arian had masqueraded as a Republican activist during the 2000 presidential election, providing money to the campaign of George W. Bush after previously supporting Democrats. Despite his track record, Khan landed a job at the White House Office of Public Liaison under President George W. Bush in 2001. In June of that year, Khan followed al-Arian at an American Muslim Council AMC Art of Lobbying training session. National security experts working with the Bush administration to tighten counterterrorism laws after the 9/11 attacks found Khan to be more interested in having the White House protect radical Muslims against public backlash than recruiting mainstream Muslims to fight the radicals here at home. Al-Arian came to public attention as a leader of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. He was arrested in February of 2003 on a 50-count grand jury indictment alleging, among other things, financial support for terrorism. Al-Arian pleaded guilty in 2006 to conspiracy to provide material support to a terrorist organization and received a 57-month sentence. He is now under house arrest in Virginia. awaiting charges for contempt after refusing to testify against other reputed terrorist figures. After the arrest, Khan told his writer that he had never met al-Arian. Years later, in his failed 2010 GOP primary race for U.S. Senate from California, former Congressman Campbell took heat for writing a letter in defense of al-Arian in 2002. He said he had never known of al-Arian's terrorist ties. Suhail Khan also worked with Abdurrahman al-Amoudi, founder and head of the now-defunct ANC and its tax-exempt arm, the American Muslim Council Foundation. Al-Amoudi, an open supporter of Hamas and Hezbollah, also provided GOP campaigns with cash and activist support after becoming disillusioned with the Clinton administration for enacting the law that Khan was trying to abolish. Identified as a Muslim Brotherhood operative, al-Amoudi is presently serving a 23-year federal prison sentence on terrorism-related crimes. Al-Amoudi introduced Khan at a June 2001 AMC luncheon according to the printed agenda of the event. The last signer of the Ground Zero Mosque letter is Sama al-Reyes Norquist, the Palestinian Muslim wife of Republican operative Grover Norquist. Born in Kuwait of Palestinian parents, Sama al-Reyes immigrated to the United States in 1990, earned college degrees, and then worked in the office suite of Republican activist Grover Norquist Americans for Tax Reform, ATR. ATR provided space to the Islamic Free Market Institute, also known as the Islamic Institute, which Norquist and al-Amoudi founded in the late 1990s. Al-Amoudi funded the Islamic Institute with checks from his own activist organization, the ANC, and with anonymous checks drawn from banks in Saudi Arabia. Sama al-Reyes served as director of communications for the Islamic Institute. Later, she worked at the U.S. Embassy in Amman, Jordan, and later as a public affairs specialist for the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. She married Norquist in 2005. On August 18, 2010, the morning after the 6 signers released the letter defending the Ground Zero Mosque, Americans for Tax Reform distributed the document by email to Republican and conservative activist leaders. According to ATR's Patrick Gleason, Norquist's group circulated the letter at the request of Suhail Khan. ATR sent out the letter without any objection to the signer's statement that it was more important to build the mosque near Ground Zero than it was to defeat the Democrats in the fall of 2010.